In this tutorial, I will go through how to set up a sun with precise angles and how to render with Vray. So here I have the scene I want to render. I've just applied a few different Vray materials to the buildings, but I'll take us through how to do that. So if you go up here to your material editor and click on there, it'll open up this window. What we want to do is find the Vray section and find Vray material and click and drag it into the window. Now if you double click the top heading, it takes you into the basic parameters of the Vray material. So basically to change the colour, you go into diffuse and pick a colour that you want. So we'll go this purple. There's other settings about reflection and refraction and fog colour, but we don't really want to apply any of these to the buildings. And then to apply the actual colour, click and drag from this dot and drag it onto the object you want to colour. So that'll colour that group purple. Go to the system settings and select standard and then click daylight. This allows you to choose your days and months and locations, so you get an exact sun angle. So if we want it in December on the 21st, 2020 at 12 o'clock, and we'll get our location and we'll choose Australia, Melbourne, click OK. And we might actually set this to 10 o'clock in the morning, and then click in your window and drag back. That'll create a daylight scene. You might want to move this to the middle of your model. Now, you can't adjust this because it's at the right angle. With your sun selected, go to the modify panel and you can choose to change it to a V-Ray sun. Then you can select to add it to the environment map and replace it. So now this is a V-Ray sun at the precise angle that the sun would be in Melbourne at 10 AM on December 21st. Next, we have to set up a camera. So to set up a camera, go to the Create panel and the fourth icon across, which is Cameras. In the drop-down menu, select V-Ray and then select the V-Ray physical camera. So in your window, click and drag to locate the camera, and then use your positioning, select and move option to locate the angle that you want for your camera. Once you think you've got the angle correct, you can go to perspective, and then on cameras you can select that camera and that'll show you the view that your camera is set up as. So I'm quite happy with this view. If you weren't happy, you can go back to clicking on here, and then you can click on perspective, which will let you go back and edit your camera. So to render, we want to go back into the camera view and then select render setup. So in this window, you have some parameters for the render. This shows which frame that you're going to render. So we only want a single image, so we'll just leave it at single. Make sure that your view to render is the camera. Choose the size that you want your display image to be. I've chosen the smaller size so it's quicker to render. Make sure that V-Ray is selected as your render here as well. So let's click render. You can see that it's starting to render the image that you selected. So once the image is rendered, you can select interactive rendering. This means if you change anything in the window, it will update. So if I click and drag with my mouse wheel, you can see that the window in here also updates. You can then go back into perspective, and then we can change the views as well and update things. So what I'm doing is changing my camera view. I'm going back into the cameras, and then we can see that it's changed in the interactive. So we'll render again, and that will be our final image. So to save the image, go to File and Save Current Channel. Select a file name and also select a format that you want to save it as. So I'm choosing JPEG. Click Save and choose the quality of the image and click OK. So this is our final render. It's quite low quality, but you can increase the quality of the renders back in the render settings.